All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the second episode of Sheepdogs, Shepards, Violence, and Jesus, if you will. Working title. We're trying to figure out new ones every week. Who knows? Happy Memorial Day. Woo. Man, it's been a busy day for us. Man, between church on Sunday and today, we did a Memorial Day walk here in Myrtle Beach. Walked down the road with a bunch of other veterans.
City shut it down. No, they didn't shut it down. They pulled their support from it, and we still had a great turnout. And I just want to say, I'm really glad that they did support it by not stopping it.
Dude, we had so many people.
It was good.
It was funny because I was running around the crowd and I was introducing some of the young cats who their first time being involved in civil disobedience. I was like, welcome to your first protest. The city didn't want you to march on Memorial Day. We did it anyway.
Freedom of
I got a treat for you today, guys. I got two new people come here. First of all, this is Jay. This is my brother-in-law. He's got a background with the Horry County Sheriff's Department, also running private security for what, 10 years?
10 years.
About 10 years, armed security for a civilian company. And also Mr. John Lightfoot. He's a captain of a boat, a giant riverboat, but he has a lot of experience with maritime security. Welcome, guys. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having
us. Day. Love you guys. But we're over here at my house, man. I'm chilling underneath my American flag and my Marine Corps flag. The Army flag tore. Don't get mad at me. I'm sorry. I'm gonna get one. The kids are here. We are cooking out, making tacos, hanging out in the pool and stuff. Just having a good time. It's a good fellowship.
And what you should be doing, celebrating.
100% exercising that right. The freedom to assemble and freedom of religion. But today, specifically, we want to talk about concealed carry. Armed security in a church. So we brought up some points last time. Well, this time we want to kind of dive into each one specifically. And so let's talk about, the concept of the Christian faith being a non-political entity, right? I mean, it's something that's it's neither Democrat nor conservative, right? Jesus was neither. Supposed to be, right?
Right.
And so with that, would you not agree that there is favor for or against the carrying of firearms in a church?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, wherever you are, the majority stance is, and even if you don't, so say you're split down the middle, you're going to have to fight that battle.
Right.
Okay, on both sides. So that's why you have to have open communication across the board. And I hate playing even we call it playing politics.
Yeah, playing politics.
There shouldn't be politics in it. But
John was there. He was involved with us a couple times. We sat down at the head table when we talked to some of the elders and the leadership of the church, and he was involved in some of that. Man, it's banter. I mean, back and forth. What about this? Okay, that's not going to work. What about this? So there is a lot of that. You got to have a lot of communication with your leadership,
which is good. That means you're doing what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Because everybody's being heard and everybody's getting their viewpoint on the table of pros and cons, so that we make the right decision.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be. So take that as a good thing. Don't get frustrated with it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So the first time we started concealed carry, I think it was once everybody realized we were carrying, was after certain individuals that was on the security team saw a video. It was a moto video that we had made. We had our own Facebook page, and we were doing some training. Okay.
Right.
I'll be honest with you. You know me, my brother-in-law. Y'all know me. Sometimes I do get a little zealous with my training. I like to shoot. I like to do cool guy stuff. We always have a good time.
We were running some drills, and it looked a little high speed.
But someone saw it and got scared.
Yeah.
The first thing they thought of was, hey, it looks like you're trying to militarize. We're not a police force. Who do y'all think you are?
And what they brought up, the red flags they were throwing up is the public image. What are they going to think of that? And these individuals were also anti-gun. Okay, so what y'all have guns and we were doing it because we had assault rifles out there, so it was a fun shoot day for us
at the range.
Anyway,
yeah, it was a fun shoot day.
But they automatically assumed that we're going to come in fully strapped to
Matter
the
of fact, that's where the famous rumor came that they said Ecclesia Christian Church in Conway security team had ARs and AKs in Bible school, Bible study. We got kids going to school. There was a rumor around town that apparently we were strapped to the teeth and we had like #1 Delta Force.
Yeah.
But
which I was okay with.
I had no problem with that. I didn't have a problem with that.
Safest church in town.
Obviously, either real or imagined.
That's right.
But we had an individual who was anti-gun. I think the argument was he didn't want firearms around his children. He didn't respect. He didn't know what level of training they had, and it was almost like, that's the part I heard. And then the other half is almost like if it's too much training, then it becomes this SWAT team.
It's military, yeah. What is the
Militant.
public going to think? And then also, red flags for insurance. Are y'all going to be
Insurance.
covered? What if something
Liability
happens?
came up. Huge deal.
Yeah,
Huge deal. Matter of fact, I went as far as inviting several insurance adjusters to the church. These guys walked around to the whole church. I mean, I was trying to talk to the guy about firearms, and he's looking at fire escapes and stuff. I'm like, look, but we've already got insurance. If you just take that claim from them and just take it on, but I need you to give me the green light on whether or not we can have an armed security team. And it wasn't until one of our security guys, Big Ray, who literally is a big dude.
And he does commercial insurance.
He does commercial insurance.
We finally got the backup we needed from that side to say, no, we are covered because we are a volunteer team. We're covered under the umbrella. Just like if they were to walk outside and trip and fall and smash their face on the concrete,
it's all covered.
It's all covered in the same thing.
But we did double down. As security team directors, we decided that if you own your own insurance, which is possible through the USCWA, I think it's United States Concealed Carry, whatever it is, association. But they offer $45 a month for $2 million worth of coverage. I'm not trying to plug them. There's several different insurance companies, but specifically, if you had those, we liked it. And we went from an all-armed team to now where we have a majority unarmed, but we have a Secret Six. Can you explain the Secret Six to them for me, Joseph?
Okay, so the Secret Six.
I think now it's actually 8, but I'm not.
Hey, well, don't put a number on it.
Yeah, don't
first,
put a number on it.
Because then
It
you're
started out
limiting,
Secret Six.
limiting yourself.
We're going to redact that.
Yeah. Don't put a number on it. We definitely want all of our guys to be carrying.
Well, that's our opinion.
Yeah, that's our opinion.
Yeah.
But then, of course, like I said, leadership, they're looking at something from a totally different angle, and they want to make sure that they're covered.
Yeah.
And so too many guns, I won't say scares them, and not them, all of them. Just
All of them,
some.
Yeah.
Because it's more liability. To us, that's less liability because that's less of a threat continuing.
So you and I sat down, we met, we wrote out a training plan with a training schedule and a training standard.
Yes.
And that standard meets and or exceeds the state of South Carolina's law enforcement training. Exceeds it. And then not only on top of that, do we not only require you to be physically trained, but then also spiritually trained.
Right.
So if you're going to be a carrier, not only are you on the range, pulling trigger, putting rounds down range, practicing holstering, practicing drawing from the concealed position.
Yeah, you got to bring what you're actually going to carry.
Yep.
Okay, because we want you familiar with. It's not a time to show up and show off because you're a good shot. So you're bringing your. Yeah, exactly. Now we have
one of those guys.
Yeah. And we had them.
They showed up. They showed up. We all gave them a look.
And that's fine after we do our qualification course and after we do our standard training. Then we go out there and we pull that out. We have a good time. But you're going to bring it and carry it how you would on Sunday. So don't carry it on the outside because you're not going to sit in the chair or the pew that way.
We don't allow it.
Exactly how you would sit down in service on church Sunday morning.
So not only are they training with the gun that they carry, they're training with the ammo that they carry.
Yes.
They're training in a way that they carry it, right? Yes. They're exceeding the state law enforcement standard. And then on top of all of that, we're doing background checks. They must have a CWP, South Carolina Concealed Weapons Permit.
Yep.
We're requiring them to have insurance. Most of them have insurance if they can. And then their name is put up in front of the elders and the leaders. Yes. And then they are saying yay or nay.
Yeah,
after you and I say yay or nay.
Once they go through that training, we sign off on it, put it up there for leadership, and then they have to vet, okay, well, are they part of a discipleship group? Have they been showing up to church? Have they gone to our classes, our core classes? Are they on board with our doctrine?
Right.
Are they sound mind? And if all of that checks out, then we get that letter that we have to keep on file because we're in the state of South Carolina so that they do have the approval from leadership to conceal carry in our church. And that's it.
And this is something that we want you to know, this is all new to us because we went from a church of about maybe 120 on Sunday to 1,200 to 1,600 people, 3 services, 4 during the week. Right. 5 if you count the Sunday night training service. I mean, it blew up, and so we had to write this on our own. We had to come up with it.
Yeah.
We would brainstorm and come up with these ideas. But speaking to Jay, my brother-in-law, he goes to a church that's smaller, and I mean, bro, you're such a thug.
Getting
okay,
chewed
just
up,
want you to know
not
there
even
was a pile of ants that was just eating his feet, and he just stood there. And I'm looking down. I was like, bro, your foot's getting ate up. Anyways, my brother-in-law Jay goes to a smaller church. He said he about 40 to 50 people at his church, and you know, that may not look like what we have a 20, 25 man security team. It might just be one. Right. And my brother-in-law plays the piano. He's part of the worship team. It would surprise me. It would scare me to death if I come inside that church trying to do harm, and I go and pull a strap out, and somebody mid piano is just like boom.
doesn't skip a beat.
Nope,
just
one-handed.
That's right.
But I mean, so you have to be careful. You have to feel out the church, and I'm 100%. You know, the environment of the church and the temperature of the church, correct me if I'm wrong, changed a little bit when we got bigger. Not so much the church, our doctrine, our belief, who we are, but the overall culture of the church kind of changed because we were accepting more
That's
people.
right. It's a learning curve for everybody. You're adapting from a small size to a larger size, and you've got to take that into consideration logistically. And how are you going to secure these people and secure their children?
100%. Yeah.
Because now we got more children.
That's right.
More people. And
So-
more volunteers. Now we need a training program because it's not just the same old people
Yeah, exactly.
that
right.
we've been training with before. Now we need to we implemented the program and the standards. So
Right.
we didn't know you're right off the street and you want to carry right away. Well, no, there's a process,
Yep.
which we also have a time limit too.
We do.
So even if you come to the first shoot and you qualify, that doesn't mean next week you're carrying.
Right.
We have to get to know you.
wanna vet you, yep.
Exactly. Know that you've gone through our process.
And so here recently, I stood in front of the congregation, specifically the leaders, because we wanted them to understand that, yes, we do have individuals who do carry. No, we're not going to tell you who they are, but we do want you to know that they do carry. And I'm kind of getting into our SOPs, but I just wanted to make that point because it's a secret who they are, but it's not a secret that we are armed. And I guess that would kind of explain the culture of your church, because that's the culture of our church. Okay. However, since we have implemented the secret 6, 8, 9, 10, whoever it is, we also put up no concealable weapons allowed signs on the church. Now I want y'all to know we live in South South Carolina, all right? And everybody I know has at least one gun on them. Okay? It don't matter if it's Walmart, the beach, the river, the store, church.
That's right.
And matter of fact, my brother-in-law, I bought him a shotgun for a wedding gift. His wedding gift was a shotgun.
Shotgun, yeah.
So I mean, that's what we do.
Well, and see, so
That's what we do, though.
that's where we're at now. And the reason we did that,
The reason why we did
is
that.
that backs up all the way to the beginning. So
Yep.
when we were smaller, everybody had a gun on them. Like
One-
you said, there was no policy
no
on it
training,
at all.
no policy, no SOP.
Come on, you have your gun. And we just were. We knew if anything happened, everybody was just going to take care of it.
Yeah.
There was no organization.
We were all going to shoot in the same direction.
Yeah.
Shoot
Everybody,
the entire church.
nobody was going to friendly fire. It was just all
Sure.
going to
Yeah.
work
Right.
out.
Yeah. Okay.
And so we went from everybody being armed, okay, congregation and
Deacons,
semi
leadership, teachers.
Right.
Bro, we were. I mean, back like we said last time. Back then, we were greeters, communion, security.
Right.
What else we do? Oh, I was in a band.
Ushers. Yeah.
I was in the back then. I was in the band. So
So we went from that, everybody carrying, to when we broke out into our new building, we started getting on more people, we started getting some organization. Then it was, oh well, security, y'all can't all carry, so nobody carry
Right.
until we figure this thing out.
Right.
What we didn't address was the congregation. So
Congregation.
for a little bit of time, you had security not carrying,
Yep.
but the congregation was still carrying.
straps, son. They were straps.
And so when we finally aired it out, we got a few members of security carrying. We put signs on the door to start retraining the congregation.
Yeah.
And that was still a protocol to be implemented. And it's funny because in South Carolina, carrying a CWP, which you should already know, you can't carry in a church unless you have a
Without
letter.
written permission.
Exactly.
Correct.
They didn't know that. So
And so, I have to be 100% honest with you. I'm going to put a little bit of George's opinion on this, and you guys can reserve the right to whatever opinion you want. But putting those no concealable weapons allowed permit signs up hurt me. It hurt every inch of Marine in me. It hurt every inch of soldier in me. Hurt every inch of patriot and Second Amendment lover. I wanted grandma to have 2 guns. I wanted everybody to carry.
absolutely.
But that's an opinion. So we had to do that in order to mitigate friendly fire. Here recently in 2019, I mentioned this last video, but in 2019 there was a church shooting out in Texas. And when we watched that video, we dissected that video millisecond by millisecond. Me and Joseph, I know John was there, our assistant pastor Brandon, Matt's brother, he saw the video, Matt saw the video, and we dissected it, and we watched every single person in that congregation, and we watched the things they did right and the things they did wrong.
Right.
And I would say there was more people, well, first of all, I'll say they're blessed. They were blessed because they didn't have an accidental discharge, a negligent discharge, or any type of friendly fire.
Yeah,
but there were too many guns in that congregation, untrained, I'll say, guns in that congregation.
Well, they didn't have a protocol.
They didn't have a SOP.
Right.
So the drawing back on that, after we put up the CWP signs, we knew we had stepped on some toes.
Oh, and that's when it just started.
That's when it just started.
Because just like George was just saying, okay, say I wasn't on a security team and this is my first time coming to this church.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't know nothing about the church,
Right.
carry, conceal policies or not, but I'm coming in there now. You're telling me I can't carry my gun. Well, that's
Right.
my right.
Yeah. What kind of church is it? Yeah.
Right. So it's definitely, thank God we haven't had any issues disarming individuals.
When we have disarmed several individuals, we've come up to them, had conversations with them, say, hey, man, I want you to know no concealed weapon permits allowed. And one thing that I know upset a couple of them is I'm a former law enforcement officer, and here in the state of South Carolina, if you have your badge, you're allowed to concealed carry, or open carry. But unfortunately, you still fall underneath that CWP law within that building. So if they say you can't carry in that building, unfortunately, you either leave or return your weapon to the vehicle. And that's a conversation you can have with your leadership, their law enforcement officers. If that level of training is good enough for you and your elders, 100%. But if it's not, and you have an issue, because I think a lot of it ends up being a humility thing.
That's definitely what it is.
Can you subjugate yourself to the leadership of the church? And that's a hard thing in the Christian walk anyway. Can I be underneath this guy?
It's a test.
Can I fold to him and say, all right, man, I'm going to take my gun? Here it's like a pocket knife or a wallet, man. We carry guns around here like it ain't nothing. And you're telling me to just
Well, and they carry it. That's their
trust
full-time
these
job.
people? I'm supposed to
40 hours
trust
a
these
week.
strangers, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm better trained than you are. So, that's a slap in the
Ultimately,
face.
what I feel it boils down to is transparency. Transparency from the beginning.
Oh, man, I agree.
So, when you get, a lot of times what we do is, as far as the security team, if I heard correctly,
Right.
you guys went straight to the head, right? And then brought this
Right.
idea.
Yeah.
So I think it's also important that same level of transparency, it applies to everybody.
Well, that's funny you say that, because
Everybody.
then I told the
Then
pastor.
you don't have any miscommunication or issues of people who actually are
So
carrying.
I went to the leadership, the elders, and I said, hey, man, we need to speak this to the congregation. And I asked permission. I said, look, I want to get up. And I know I met a little resistance with the executive pastor, because I guess they're afraid they never know what we're going to say. But so I said, hey, man, I just want to get up. He's like, what do you want to say? I said, well, listen, I want to go over our SOP. I want them to know that we are carrying. We're not going to tell you who's carrying, but we are carrying, and this is our SOP.
Because, like you said, it was leadership was all on the same page. But at this time, the only announcement we've made to the congregation was putting the signs on the door.
That's it.
So now it was time to, okay, we're all on the same page. Now let's let everybody else know.
So imagine, if
what
you will, you go into a church. 2-3 months prior to that, someone got murdered in a church in Texas. All of a sudden, your church, good Southern church, puts up a bunch
seven
of
dead in Charleston at least.
yeah.
So
And all of a sudden, they put up no concealable weapons signs. And you're thinking, my church ain't got nothing to protect itself.
And we had that. We had a few people
had
that came from those areas and said, wait a minute,
Yeah.
we want to know that our kids are protected and that y'all are armed.
Matter of fact, they asked that during that, and I said,
Yep.
look, and I went over, hey, this is our SOP. If you're a teacher and there's a mass shooting going on, an active shooter, this is what we're going to do. This is our SOP. Everybody understand? Cool. No heroes. All right. That's why we don't have any concealed weapons permit. If anything happens inside this congregation, this sanctuary, get down. We will return fire.
Yeah.
We have this number of trained individuals. I want you to know, I want you to believe us, have confidence in our training. We have overtrained these guys. And that's a big issue in and of itself, was trying to drive home the confidence and them thinking, well, this is just small security guards. And they just think he was in the military 27 years ago. That's not what it's like. That's not. If you know George Kite, that's not what it's like. Because I'm gonna tell you what, I overdo it with my guys.
And no
we
matter
overdo
what,
it.
No matter what Rambo SF unit you were from, we started baseline.
Everybody, boom, this is a handgun. This is how you hold it.
Yep.
This is how you pull the trigger. This is how you put bullets on paper.
And here's
Welcome to Paris. Welcome to Bragg. Welcome
Yeah.
all over again.
But here's our SOP for this church, because
This church.
this isn't downtown Baghdad. This isn't Kandahar.
Yep,
No.
100%.
This is Conway,
Yeah,
South
this
Carolina.
ain't South
you know.
Central. Relax.
Yeah,
All right,
you're
calm
walking
down.
the beat.
So, to recap everything, that's kind of how we got the CWP stuff, the concealed firearms, as far as our security team is involved. A lot of it's convoluted. If you have any questions, send us some questions. Ask whatever you want. Comment below. We'll do our best to answer them. I think the points we're trying to make is, one, be transparent, communicate, overtrain, and vet. I think those are 4 good places to start. And once you do that, stay on top of training.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to remove someone from the team if they fail to meet standards.
That's right. You're going to hurt some feelings, and it's just going to happen. Just remember to always go to the Lord in prayer when you're making these decisions on what's going to work for your congregation and your team, because like we said, we have examples of we meet both sides of the fence. You have congregational members that are worried that we're having guns. You have others that are worried that we don't have guns.
Not enough.
Not enough.
Yeah.
I mean, all the way through. So just stay true to your faith and your morals and what y'all decide on.
Hey, John, man, can you close us with a prayer, brother?
Of course. Dear Lord, thank you for today. Thank you for this brotherhood. And thank you for the right to assemble in religious freedom. We've had a beautiful day spent together with brothers and family. Bless us on this day. Let us have many, many more to come. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right, guys. See you later.